So I followed GamerGate like very extensively back in 2013. In fact, I was actually very much, what is it, involved in that sense. I was very pro GamerGate. I was very familiar with everything. And Anita Sarkeesian, she made a little thing called what was it? Tropes in video games. It was not good. It was very seventh grade interpretation, very surface level explanation in terms of video game stories and representation and blah blah blah. Many would argue she's done reprehensible damage to the industry as a whole, and she was mentioned recently as a person who didn't deserve a lot of hate. Yeah, that was a lot of bullshit. So anyway, let's delve into a little bit into that right here. Yeah, I know it's side scrollers, but they talk about a lot of the stuff that I find interesting. That's pretty much where I get a lot of my any news stories that I actually care about. So anyway, here we go.
This is the person we're talking about here. This person's yes, this person's name is Anita Sarkeesian.
There you go.
And I know one person on our panel goes back deep with Anita to the GamerGate days. Hello.
I am a veteran of the meme wars, folks. Hello. Nice to see you. For those of you who don't know who Anita Sarkeesian is, if I may, Craig, break it down a little bit.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, Anita Sarkeesian was infamous around the 2013 to 2017 era specifically. She had something called Feminist Frequency along with two other people. And
which went under now.
The goal was to kind of break down the tropes in video games and talk about how women and minorities struggle in this space. So,
but in reality, it was essentially she saw that video games were a very, very popular market and a very lucrative one, and she exploited that. That's pretty much what the whole thing with Feminist Frequency was.
There was a Kickstarter, and they made about $150,000. And they started this series called Tropes versus Women in Video Games. And the whole purpose of the show is Anita Sarkeesian sits in front of a camera and she dissects different video games and how the tropes inside those video games are negative towards women.
Badly, I might add.
Of course, the internet took a lot of issue with that, myself included.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Well, you may...
Is it all the way up? There you go.
Be asking yourself, what happened to Feminist Frequency? What happened to that back in the day? Why, there was a lot of pushback on Feminist Frequency, and I'll get to exactly what happened to it in just a minute. You mentioned Feminist Frequency. You mentioned the tropes versus women in video games. Mm-hmm. She was a big part of GamerGate, and she continued Feminist Frequency until 2023, but it has since been brought back. I don't know if you've seen this or not. Have you seen this, Kay?
Shut down and then brought back. Yeah, I've seen a little bit.
The channel
I didn't know it was brought back.
Feminist Frequency is now Feminist Frequency Radio. It has 209,000 subscribers on it. Now, you may be saying to yourself, that's okay. A lot, right? And you see, it says created by Anita Sarkeesian, Feminist Frequency ran as an organization from 2009 to 2023, providing video commentaries exploring gender representation, myths, and messages in pop culture media. Now, host Kat Spada continues Feminist Frequency Radio's legacy as an independent podcast with fun new conversations about entertainment that asks you to be critical of the media you love. So you can see the wonderful, they're not an X of all things.
I wonder why. That blue sky.
Shocking.
Well, if you want to follow them over on Blue Sky, you can. They got 214 followers over there. They haven't quite transitioned their audience
I don't know.
over there yet. And they haven't quite transitioned their audience to the new Feminist Frequency. As you can see, they just posted a new episode 7 hours ago, and it has 62 views.
2 views. And 2 weeks ago, 380. Oh my God, how they've fallen.
It just feels like there's not a market for this. I just,
Yeah,
at a certain point.
It's just pointless whining. I mean, we can
like the bubble bursted almost.
obviously dive deep today into Anita, but she's just pointlessly whining constantly, and people are awake to that. And even people who would like take her side 10 years ago are going, okay, we've had enough of this. Like you're just nitpicking at dumb stuff at this point.
Sorry, shut up.
So it doesn't surprise me, the huge drop off, but that is hilarious to see.
Well, unfortunately, they don't like to have much discussion here, as the comments are turned off on all of their videos.
Another shocker right there. I mean, it's obviously just a graveyard. Ever since she left, she took the money and she ran. That's pretty much it.
I want to get harassed. Don't harass us. You can't say anything to us.
All right. So why are we talking about Anita Sarkeesian today? It's because the internet is talking about Anita Sarkeesian today. And this stems from a single post from an account called Buffy's, and it said, "Post a woman who gets hate for no reason." This was the origin story of this post right here. So you can see this right here, 5.8 million views, and a quote tweet on this had Anita Sarkeesian. Says, over her critiquing video games, mind you, here. Now, yes.
One of the worst examples for this, too.
Yeah, exactly. It was not. Well, never mind.
There's a lot of reason this woman gets hate. A lot.
Well, agree with that, because this has 4 million views and not even 500 likes. So, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And they have been ratioed beyond belief over here. By the way, they included Five Guys, Zoe Quinn as well.
Even worse.
Burgers and fries,
Jesus
baby.
Christ.
Oh, my God. The whole band's getting back together. Look at that.
Now,
well, I mean, they haven't mentioned Wu, or Brianna Wu, so.
Real quick, do you want to give Mally a rundown of who this person is?
Oh, God. With
just a quick blurb.
She looks like she's stuck in Pinterest 2013.
A game developer type person. She was kind of getting in bed with journalists, and she ended up pretty much leading to somebody offing themselves.
That's kind of beside the point. Well, I'll give you a rundown. She basically had a relationship with various journalists and judges. The problem was this was never disclosed by said journalist or judges over the positive press she was getting over her game Depression Quest. And when people started asking them, essentially, those said journalists kind of accused gamers of harassing her. And while there probably were a lot of people doing that, she kind of ran with it, and she made herself even more of a victim. It was never so much of the fact that she did it; it was the fact that she could do it. That's pretty much where GamerGate kind of more or less started. But this woman is kind of such a sociopath. She ran with the whole victim thing because she got perks out of it. She got the recognition over her really crappy choose your own adventure game, which was more of a text adventure than anything.
Because of how aggressive she was towards them and trying to push them out of the gaming space. In my opinion, I will say she has blood on her hands.
Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. Well, regarding that, I forgot his name. He made the game Night in the Woods, and this developer, and she essentially Mewtwo'd him. And he eventually, at some point, it drove him to off himself. Unfortunately, I don't know if it was ever true. I can't imagine this. This woman is a massive sociopath. Every single freaking interaction I have heard from various sources, like photographers, because apparently she was in this little agency or little group. They're like the Suicide Girls, where she posts like naked pictures of herself, and like one of her photographers talked about how much of a freaking weirdo, much of a kind of how crazy she was. The whole thing this kind of came into her ex-boyfriend, who kind of blew up the whole. I don't know. Yeah, but like regarding her ex, the person kind of more or less spilled all the tea about her having relationships with various journalists. That said she was kind of unhinged. I'm pretty sure they're going to talk about her interaction with Candace Owens. So we'll get to that, but yeah, she also kind of took the money and ran with her last game that was supposed to be like a dating sim. It never got finished. It was a crowdfunding game, so yeah. If we never hear about her, it's too soon. Or if we ever hear about her again.
Allie, you truly don't understand the impact that these women had, not just in video games, but in culture.
Yeah.
As Kay mentioned this before the show, but these people and their movement, these two women in particular, I would say and I think, Kay, you were right when you mentioned this pre-show, they led to the original electing of Donald Trump. I think it was a direct response to their movement here and just kind of the pushback. Phoenix, what do you remember about Anita Sarkeesian and the whole GamerGate stuff?
I actually, believe it or not, I was not really aware of the whole GamerGate and all that other stuff because I was fighting my own fight with the industry at that time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do remember how much, though, it created a very clear division. So on social media, it was everywhere. I didn't really understand what was going on, but there was very clear sides, and everyone started arguing, and it seemed to be having a huge cultural impact that I was not aware of. So I actually appreciate Kay kind of filling in.
You had a lot of celebrities also talking about it, obviously taking the side of the anti-GamerGate side because they were just hearing, oh, it's about harassing women. And of course, you know, people still today take a lot of these things at face value. And so, yeah, it's kind of what also gave a lot of traction.
She does, like, the thing is with this situation, why I believe it led to the election of Donald Trump, is it definitely red-pilled a lot of people to understand why politics and culture is important, and something that was very personal to a lot of people who otherwise kind of stayed out of this stuff, which is video games, like really massively got attacked, and men were just accosted literally for enjoying video games. And so it just opened this spiral of like, well, why do they hate me just because I'm a white man? And then people looking into more and more and more, and people being more active in the conversation. And, you know, I truly believe like Donald Trump's original election was because of the internet and because of the conversation there. So
I also do believe that one of them too, I want to say it was Anita, kind of more or less made that implication that Gamergate got Trump elected. Funny thing is that Gamergate was a lot of those people who were in it, because especially if you're going to go with like subreddits like Kotaku in Action, which is essentially the Gamergate like subreddit itself, considered themselves more liberal. But, you know, as time went on, you know, when anti-Gamergate kind of essentially became very, I guess, anti-male. A lot of these other pointing the fingers, essentially calling any just over time, I guess it kind of moved them away from the left or anything what the left was about, especially with someone like Hillary Clinton. And no one likes that woman at all. And so you're just naturally going to go to the other side. You know, if one side pushes you and calls you a horrible, like, misogynist and bigot and all this other crap, you know, it's most likely going to go push you on to the opposite end. And that's kind of what happened here.
It brought a lot more people into the fold to be like, we need a change.
And the whole thing with like Gamergate was like, we just want to play video games, and you know, they wouldn't let us do that. Again, everything had to be a political issue, a gender issue, and all this other crap. And you try pushing into someone into a culture war, they're probably going to go the exact opposite direction that you're on.
People to actually like stand up and fix everything. So it's crazy. It's a little domino in a huge roll of things, but we're here today because of Gamergate. Right.
And that's become a big, like, I was educated on Gamergate, and since this show has begun, it was always, I'm with Phoenix on this, right? Like, even back at Screw Attack, we kept our head down, and that's when all this was going on, and people would ask us our opinion on it, and I had no idea what to say about it because I wasn't really following all that stuff, right? And I was naive to what was happening. But I want to go back to this.
It was a lot more difficult to try to get to what was really happening with Gamergate, considering, keep in mind, this was like pre-Elon Musk Twitter. So Twitter was very censorious about things you could say. even more so because I believe Anita Sarkeesian was actually part of their little ethics group or whatever the fuck. She worked alongside Twitter, so that was probably a lot harder to get what was really going on to people to see what was really going on with Gamergate. But as time went on, obviously Twitter is now a lot more, isn't obviously as restrictive as it was before. People are really starting to see the truth of what really happened.
The statement that this was all built around this simple premise of a woman who gets hate for no reason, right? This is a lady who went into the video game industry and has later went on to say this.
In short, I've been playing games for most of my life.
Bullshit.
I'm not a fan of video games.
The reality of this lifelong involvement with video games isn't convenient for my detractors, so they try to construct a different narrative using whatever fabrications they can muster. One particularly amusing conspiracy theory has to do with my original Kickstarter video. So, these screenshots were lifted from that video and are still passed around as proof that I'm a fraud.
I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this.
Because the light on the Xbox logo is not clearly visible, they have deduced that not only that I am a fake gamer who just pretends to play games, but also that I don't even know how to turn on a controller.
It's just gross.
The reality that LEDs don't show up very
Mostly you're not playing a game. There you go. It's not like you didn't turn it on. You didn't mean to turn it on. It's just a publicity shot.
well on video when filming in a room with bright sunlight just didn't occur to them, I guess.
But also, again, on the fact that she literally puts it on there. This was like that black and white video. She does admit, like, oh, I'm doing this thing about video games. I had to learn a lot about video games. I don't know anything about video games. I don't even like video games. She's literally said that. So she is already a fraud. She's been in some other infomercial crap that I can't find anymore. I forget what it was about. It was something about talking to people, but that's beside the point. Regardless, she's full of shit.
Anyways, you get the idea. You get.
And she makes that implication in one of her videos. Pretty much, yeah. Because she makes the implication, oh, I've been playing them since I've been 5 years old. That was the elementary school assignment first. Oh, yeah, it was. But this is much worse than mine. You've at least played video games. Hers was putting a lot of, like, the first one was essentially like talking about mythology and, people, and like how, the whole damsel in distress thing, because back then it was like women were prizes and blah, blah, blah. It's like that, but okay. Yeah, and like how a lot of these games were, were made to make women just prizes, but without really truly understanding the reason why those games were so simplistic, like Mario or Zelda. It's like, that's because back in North America, we were coming out of a video game crash. And Nintendo, for more or less had to make games a bit more simplistic. And Nintendo games aren't really known for their, amazing narrative. Obviously, as time went on, especially like the Super Nintendo, games could have a much more fleshed out story, but you had to keep these kind of simple, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, to really try to get the audience back that you had back in the, with the Atari days. Guarantee, I know, Europe and everybody else, it was still flourishing, but, Nintendo had to keep really had to do a lot, keep it about much more simple, especially appealing to younger audiences to get video games to flourish again. And of course, she never mentions this. She just mentions a bunch of ad hominems and a bunch of anecdotal evidence.
The idea is she really talked out both sides of her mouth, and she went out of her way. She admitted she never played games or disliked them for nothing more than women and them being attractive. Right here,
Yep.
She even, as it said, went to the.
It's amazing. She called herself. She had some other stupid crap about because characters looking too damn sexy. Calling I forgot, essentially fuck dolls or something like that. Something like Bayonetta and characters. It's funny now because you see that video and now you see a bunch of woke people Bayonetta's always been a feminist icon, or she's always been a trans icon now. Even though now it's been official that Bayonetta is married to Luca and has a kid. It's very funny how a lot of revisionists like to try to pretend certain characters are now always been theirs.
The UN She spoke in front of the UN to talk about this. This was a major player, Mally, for a while.
Yeah, she went to the UN to pretty much say, I get harassed on the internet all the time, and she was a big push in like internet censorship. And she was part of Twitter's Trust and Safety Council back in the day too, if you guys know about that. So she was really deeply involved in trying to censor everybody. And part of the complaints she had at the UN is, well, people call me a liar on the internet. And then you look at her saying very clearly she doesn't play video games, followed by her then trying to act like she does. That's lying.
So, yeah. If you look to her left, you're right. Look who's directly next to her. That one right there, Miss Five Guys herself.
They always look like this. They always look like this.
Right.
They essentially started that.
She's been.
I mean, there was back then when girls with like, you know, blue hair, purple hair, usually it would mean like, oh, she's probably like in the punk or metal. She's probably kind of cute or whatever. But now it's just now it's like a warning flag. It's like how bright colors on an animal usually means stay away from them.
Roasted here, and just again, people bringing back just the sheer nonsense of the statement that she didn't deserve what she got. Some people say that's
Christina.
victim blaming. No. She fucked up, man. She fucked up. She ruined a hobby. She ruined a lot of culture. And as this person pointed out, she was literally incorrect about it, though. Like, it wasn't even came to a weird conclusion. She had to literally play the games the incorrect way to achieve the results to make your arguments make sense. Like being mad at the chef because your sirloin steak wasn't vegan over here.
That's actually a funny thing. Yeah, she made like a stupid ass video where she was playing Hitman and trying to show, examples of violence towards women. And here's the thing: she obviously was killing a bunch of strippers in the level. When it clearly showed on the bottom right that she was losing points because it's Hitman, and that game generally discourages you from killing innocent people. Which is amazing that she got called out on that. Also, surprise, that video at some point had its comments also muted. But yeah, like they said, they purposely played these games in an intention to make it look bad. Like, that's your fucking choice.
There's so many examples of this. Sorry, I'm really autistic about this topic.
Go ahead, go. Yeah.
But so for example, she would claim that in Grand Theft Auto that you would have, if running over prostitutes would reward you more points.
That's so weird to even say, but points, because I don't like it's not an arcade game. I guess you mean money, but it sounds so stupid, and I wouldn't put it past that. That's actually what Anita said.
Therefore, the game was pushing real life violence against women. The thing is that you hit any civilian in GTA and you get the same result. So,
well, no, sometimes it depends if they have money or not. Like, the only way you can guarantee you get money from a prostitute is if you have sex with her and you get your money back. That's about it.
She would go out of her way to be like, if you target a woman in a video game, you get rewarded higher for that, which is completely untrue. And she tried making a similar argument in Hitman as well. So she said the same thing in Hitman. She's like, oh yeah, if you attack women in Hitman, then you get rewarded for it. Guess what? You attack anyone in Hitman, it is the exact same thing.
But like I said, that was actually incorrect. It's not, you don't get points. You lose point because in Hitman, you're discouraged from killing innocents. You're supposed to kill your target. Hell, you're kind of not even really supposed to. It's kind of almost discouraged to go straight for your target. You got to be more covert about it, make it look like an accident, or just try to be very careful of how you do it. And with innocents, you actually lose points. In the older games, I think you actually flat out lost the mission, if I'm not mistaken. So
where
yeah, it's amazing.
You get punished for accosting civilians. And
anyone took anything she said as gospel.
You would just try to make it seem like, oh, it's the women. It's the women. No, it's any NPC. So
I think I also remember a Boogie 2988, whatever his name is. Like, he also had some little altercation with Anita Sarkeesian, and like she got like really mad at him, like during some during like some, I guess like MagFest or some conference. I forgot. This was, keep in mind, this was like before, you know, Boogie like really super crashed out. So, you know, he was still kind of seen like a really nice guy, and he was, you know, very diplomatic about, you know, being kind to each other. And I think she got really mad about him over saying something. I forgot what, I gotta look it up.
How about this? The human condition fucking sucks. The world we've created is a shit show. Social media is fucking destroying all of us, and we just work on that at a base level. And maybe we don't exclude the straight white men who also could help. How about we don't exclude anybody? How about we all just work together?
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
Yeah.
And that was my goal according to that panel. And Anita, in my closing statements, that's basically word for word what I said. And then we got off stage, and she puts her finger in my face, and she's like, I don't fucking appreciate what you fucking said up there, knowing I didn't have a chance to fucking respond. And I'm like, it was closing statements. Everybody got a chance to close. They went to you next immediately after me. I don't understand.
But she's not, obviously not a very decent person, clearly.
So that's just like one like really blatant, easy example of how she would just twist everything in order to make it sound like this is only towards women. It's like, no, in GTA, there's no, like, regardless of who you hit in GTA, you get the same result. Regardless of who you hit in Hitman, same thing.
You saw this from Endymion, just to kind of further this home. Says Anita Sarkeesian played games wrong on purpose so she could report them being bad to fit her narrative. She didn't even write her own scripts. A guy did it for her. And once he left, all of her content cratered because she couldn't do it herself.
Yes.
Also, she married herself as a cherry on top of the pathetic pie.
I'm sure you want to tuck on the...
I don't know if she married herself. I know it was like she had a wedding-themed birthday. It's still pathetic, but, you know, there it is, because probably no one wants to be with her because she seems so fucking insufferable.
A touch on the marriage thing, but I want to touch on what Endymion said about writing her own scripts as well.
Go ahead.
Oh, dear Lord, that picture.
Yes,
we'll
this is her getting married to herself.
Of course, gay ass flowers. Oh my god. Oh.
It's so funny to me. So, for those of you who don't know, feminist frequencies, tropes versus women in video games, it had another person involved, and that is Jonathan McIntosh.
There you go.
And he was a co-writer and producer of Anita's show that would go through and dig on the portrayals of women. So she didn't even write all of this herself. She had a man behind the camera helping her do that. And she constantly tries to act like this didn't happen and that she was writing everything herself. And look, I have no doubt in my mind that she was definitely like a part of that, but she also had this man helping her do that. And you could see through the social media activity that Jonathan ultimately had the same opinions that Anita was putting on in front of a camera. Right. It's night and day. It's very easy. And some of this is lost in time. We all know with the meme wars, things get wiped on the internet, sadly. But eventually they actually split up and her content cratered completely. It was not the same content that she was producing. And it was so clear that a lot of this came from a man.
I remember something also with Jonathan McIntosh. He was like, around the time when Osama bin Laden was killed, he made something like, oh, I'm never going to cheer for someone's death. And then like someone else died, I guess. And like he was kind of cheering for that. I think something like that happened. He's also kind of an asshole too.
The ultimate irony in that statement, just this, the feminist frequency coming from a dude, you know?
Yeah, from a beta male. Never go full Macintosh, folks.
Well, he's gone on, and his channel, by the way, is called Pop Culture Detective, this Jonathan McIntosh guy. And he is still producing content. His last video was 6 months ago.
Let's see the views.
It is his video. Here we go. Look at this. This is, look at his list of videos. The Myth of the Alpha Male. Patriarchy according to the Barbie movie. Here.
Oh, he's still going. He's talking about the Barbie movie. Oh,
that's his most recent?
God.
Yeah. So there we go. He's still going and blowing, and on the other side.
Is he? Because it's like 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 1 year, 2 years, 2 years. I guess maybe he makes like maybe what, like 1, 2, 3, almost two videos a year.
Feminist frequency is still just blowing right there.
All right.
Well, based on the views alone, you can tell he was the one doing it.
Right. We saw this meme as well. I think this really sums it up pretty great. And I'll tell you what, Labs, how about you read the left side and I'll read the right side.
Ooh, a
okay?
sketch.
Okay. I love the games and books.
Then why do you want to change it?
I can't see the rest of it. I just want more people to feel comfortable in the hobby.
Tell the truth.
I'm a nihilistic postmodern asshat that hates your political beliefs and just wants to break your toys.
Thank you.
I don't think that was necessary. Like I said, I don't think that was really the reason why Anita got into the whole thing. It's more because she saw video games, getting really big, really hitting the mainstream, and she wanted to capitalize on it. That seems to be a lot of these outside, entities like SB, all this DEI and, Sweet Baby Inc. It's all these little consultancy companies because video games is a very, very big industry, very lucrative industry, and they want to capitalize on it.
Incredible, truly incredible.
But I'm not denying that's part of it. Them being a nihilist and just wanting to break people's stuff.
There it is. So that is why Anita Sarkeesian is in the news again, or at least notable over on X. And the same conversation not exactly happening over on Blue Sky, unfortunately.
Oh, shocker.
Which,
You
once
did
again,
see the private chat, right?
well, yeah, that she shut down.
Yeah. So that was her
yeah.
post and everything, though. I don't know if you wanted to pull that up specifically. No.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was 6 days ago?
Yeah.
No, hold on. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's her post from 6 days ago.
Okay, after 15 years, I made the difficult decision to shut down Feminist Frequency, a nonprofit that challenged and supported the video games industry. To celebrate our journey and the people who made it possible, we held a prom in San Francisco in March 2024.
Wait, that can't be a prom, right?
It was an incredible party.
A prom? Like a
filled
high
with
school
sensational
prom?
outfits and all- No, see, here's the thing. I think this didn't just happen. This post was just from a few days ago.
Yeah.
The fuck is this woman? It's a midlife. She's having a fucking midlife crisis. She's marrying her. Well, she has a wedding theme party. They have a prom.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah.
well, it was funded in 2009. Feminist Frequency.
Was this her date? And is this a they them or is this a dude?
God, that looks like a twink.
Oh,
She has many times said that she's gonna shut it down and everything.
Oh my gosh, this is the picture. Oh,
oh God.
no matter where you look. Oh no.
Look at
Yeah.
all those
pretty brutal.
gamers. Wow, that's a lot of.
Why
I
do
think
all
of when
the
I see
guys
gamers.
look the same?
I don't even know what
Oh God, they kind of do. Jesus. Well, I mean, there's only two of them, I think. Is that two? There could be. I mean, I don't know anymore.
any of these people are supposed to be.
This,
Cringe.
like,
That's what they are. They're cringe.
You're
this
right.
picture alone,
It speaks peaked in high school.
it like tells you everything you need to know.
Look at
about
the dramatic one at the bottom, looking up at the light. Like,
Mm.
I can't.
The minority front and center.
Oh,
It's honestly kind of shocking.
you know they
how-
all shoved her to the front because they're all white and privileged, so they couldn't possibly be in front of her.
Sandbags, Jesus
Wow,
Christ.
that is
Oh my gosh.
I think I need to bleach my eyes after seeing this.
Yeah, same.
that's like shockingly like if I was to make a picture that said make a picture of everything that's wrong in the video game industry and people who like video games, and I would say this is it. Like, Grok, you made it. And I'll be like, that's too much. That's way too much. And they scale it back. No, that's real. That's unbelievable. Like, legitimately unbelievable. So good on the they thems.
You know, if you really want to, laugh, I would click on Anita's profile and just read her bio. I thought that was pretty nice.
All right, get you.
Feminist critic and inclusivity reader.
Click more.
Oh,
There you
there
go.
we are.
Oh, huh.
All right, we got more. We're digging into it. Congratulations. It's
Oh
very
my
important.
Don't forget she, her
Oh,
Is
at
it?
the very top, right above her follow count.
okay.
it's important. Yep, she, her, indeed.
The red flag for any account.
Well, she, her also married herself, as we mentioned here. And this was
Like Pokemon.
honestly like
I'm
shocking.
telling you, I want her, Pokemon, and Emma Watson
Yeah.
to sit together and have a chat because they've all announced that they're self.
I'm sorry I'm not saying anything. I'm just, my head hurts. How stupid this is. Jesus Christ. Ugh.
Partner,
God.
self-married, whatever it is. I want to hear what they have to say. It's funny.
At a certain point, when you marry yourself, don't you just have to realize it's because nobody wants you?
That's probably exactly the reason, yeah.
Like there's 8 billion people on Earth.
I mean, to be fair, even Dennis Rodman got married after he married himself. Granted, it was like for a second, but it happened. It counts.
And 0 people want this.
To pretend that that's empowering is one of the biggest, like, illusions, self-illusions. Like, one of the biggest things that somebody can do to just trick themselves.
Flash in the chat says her boyfriend was there watching this.
What?
I'm sorry, she actually
What?
is dating something?
What if that's the
Something.
case?
Well, yeah, we know.
She has a
We know
boyfriend.
what he
Oh
looks
my
like.
God.
We know what he looks like.
I think I'm gonna put money on the fact that it's that thing that was in the prom picture. I
Maybe.
put money on the fact.
Listen, I'll do a little bit of digging here and find out really shortly. With that said, like, isn't that the most emasculating thing you could possibly think of? If you're a boyfriend and your girlfriend is marrying herself, like, talk about fucking getting
B-U-C-K.
need
That's
in
like
your
worse than
vagina.
her proposing. Imagine she just gets married without you.
It's just mind-boggling to me. I'm sorry. It's
I'm
like,
gonna have
what
a
the-
birthday and I'm gonna have my own wedding. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Woman, are you
For
that
her.
insecure that you can't even
Yes.
wait for your man to propose to you?
Yes.
It's truly baffling.
He's like getting a headache.
According to the internet.com,
That's me right there. Jesus. That's how I feel. Oh, he's everybody
I know,
right
Phoenix,
now.
I know.
Phoenix.
I know. This is even better. Okay, once again, this is AI, so take it for what it is.
Okay.
Anita Sarkeesian is married to her husband, Captain Pike.
What?
That's
What?
apparently her husband's real name.
That can't. Either maybe that guy had very super progressive parents to give him such a stupid ass name, or that's like in the Brady Bunch where Jan claimed to have a boyfriend who lives in Europe or something.
His first name is Captain?
I guess.
Maybe that's his
Pike.
pronoun. Maybe. I
Maybe
guess?
that's what she calls this little thing.
Ooh.
Sure, that's sexy.
She probably doesn't have to ice her vagina after that. I'll tell you that much. Who she affectionately refers to as Boo Bear. So
I'm sorry, no man wants to be called Boo Bear. Right?
Boo Bear? Boo Bear?
I mean, it doesn't mean he has a say in it.
I hate baby names and baby talk like that.
Jaboo-
Oh, I hate it.
Oh,
God.
no.
Ugh.
I can't find anything about her actually being married to a person.
Well,
I
that's
don't-
because maybe he's an alien.
I do see something on her X
Maybe
page.
it's not real.
Yeah, I do see that as well. But
Oh,
I
it
don't
looks
want to.
fiction.
Yeah, I don't want to pull
That
that
looks
up. Either way. Well, whatever. Regardless, everything about this is fictional and silly and dumb. And she should go back to the corner where she belongs.
A permanent timeout.
Yes. In the basking in the irrelevancy that is Anita Sarkeesian. So there you go. So that is why she's back in the news. And
She very much is just.
Hopefully that's the most we get from her.
And will probably
She can
always be.
go-
That will be her legacy, being one of the most annoying women to ever exist on the internet, and causing everything that she hated. She literally caused the election of Donald Trump, probably the worst thing in her universe. So
I do also remember, because apparently she did like some little thesis on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and then she kind of got a little pissy when she heard that they were actually going to reboot the series with another woman, with another character, like a black woman, and she kind of got really mad about that. I forgot where she did it though.
good job.
Yeah,
Well,
that has to
give
be
it-
one of my favorite things about their side is that they help us.
You're our best soldier. Thank you, Anita.
Yeah.
Blabs, you had a
Well,
note down here from Cecil.
Debatable.
Yeah, so Cecil texted me what I put in that document. Now, the thing is, though, I couldn't really find a whole lot about it, but I know Kay actually talked about this over the weekend when Michael was in the house. Now, if Resident Racist will respond to me, that'd be great. But she, if I remember correctly, you know about Candace Owens and the doxing and how she's actually tied to Anita Sarkeesian, correct, Resident Racist?
I wouldn't say she's tied to Anita Sarkeesian. Candace Owens just kind of came into the scene on her own.
That's not really correct. I think, well, the only tie is because, Anita's a tie to Zoe Quinn. I do know this one with Candace Owens and Zoe Quinn. Okay, so let me see if she'll go into it, though.
And started this thing called Social Autopsy. I don't know for sure there was any sort of collusion between her and the other side. She came in on her own eventually, like after like a bunch of this other stuff had happened. So I would be interested to see that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the Social Autopsy thing, essentially, I guess it was like this little program that was like a crowdfunded another project like made by Candace Owens. I essentially kind of gets the information of people who like bully you online and stuff. And keep in mind, this is also the first time I've ever heard about Candace Owens. But apparently, according to Candace, and this is going by what she's saying, so take her for what you will, she was contacted by Zoe Quinn. Essentially, Zoe asked her to stop the crowdfunding project. She I could be making claims like, oh, she was part of Anonymous, like, oh, this is going to have a lot of repercussions. And Candace essentially said no, she was going to keep doing it. And at that point, Zoe Quinn got really upset, got kind of flipped out, I guess you could say. Again, I'm going by Candace Owens. This is Candace's words, not mine. Eventually just kind of got really upset and said you'll ruin everything. And like a day or two later, Candace Owens got a slew of very derogatory emails calling her the N-word and giving her multiple death threats, which were oddly all had very robotic type of but very, I guess you could say, almost staged email accounts like MAGA supporter 172, N-word killer 68. It was a lot of stuff that seemed a little bit too convenient, after it, almost as if, I'm not saying she did it, like someone like Zoe Quinn may have incited some people on her side to send emails to her. That's kind of where it was. Also, the whole Social Autopsy, I don't think it ever got off the ground, but that's basically the whole relation between, like, that's probably the only closest thing to Anita Sarkeesian. It's like Zoe and Candace having this little scuff.
If that's true. It might be there was a lot that happened during the time. It was something that you were active in every single day and found new information like every minute. So maybe there was something that I didn't realize that she was connected to them. But Candace had made that platform because she had apparently gotten bullied when she was in her youth. And the platform in question essentially would put the personal information of students on there so that bullying would not happen because their information was more out there. That was kind of the gist of her platform.
Yeah, I couldn't really find a whole lot of tie-ins with Anita and Candace, but it could be possible. I don't know. But that's the message Cecil's. He's watching the show right now, so hi, Cecil.
It's possible that people on that side who were against harassment would then naturally gravitate towards supporting Social Autopsy because it would help them solve. Actually, it was a lot of the opposite, mostly because there were many cases where many anti-GamerGaters are actually fabricating threats. Brianna Wu was one of them. She made... she was doing some game called Revolution 60 or whatever the fuck, and she claimed that she was getting a harassment and actually had some screenshots of said harasser, only to turn out that it was actually her because she fucked up and forgot to log out and posted actual stuff as herself on said account. She was actually sending harassment to herself. Their problem of threats. So it's possible that they maybe championed that. And it was also kind of, a big staple within GamerGate to report anybody who was actually sending death threats to people like Anita and Zoe and whatnot. But I don't see a case of Candace actually taking their side and being in collusion with them.
Well, a little Anita Sarkeesian to start your day, everybody. Isn't that great news?
I'd rather have tea.
I have a quick question for Kay.
Sure.
The Me Too movement, did that come before it, during it? Because obviously, because there was that big momentum, and I'm curious if Gamergate came after it, that kind of popularized that kind of notion to start looking at men in industries, etc. Where do you know where that was?
Gamergate would have sat around 2014-ish.
I would argue 2013. Well, I guess 2014. I don't remember when exactly the year, because the whole Zoe Quinn thing is basically what kicked off Gamergate.
So when did Me Too start?
2016.
Yeah, I remember hearing Me Too stuff like several years.
So maybe toward the exodus of Gamergate.
Into Gamergate, but I also was more video game centric than I was like Hollywood centric.
It may so Gamergate may have even inspired that. You never know,
because Me Too was also happening during the Me Too was like Chris Avalon was Me Too'd and everything. A lot of I know there were some game developers were getting that shit too. Or certain artists and whatnot.
That it was making such a cultural impact that maybe that also kind of came from that as well.
Yeah, it started as journalistic ethics. Everyone remembers the day where all of these game journalists posted at the same time that gamers were not needed anymore. Gamers are dead. Very famous article. And then from there, we all kind of started to get involved. And by 2015, it was even more aggressively involved. By 2016, we're seeing campaigns and stuff. So yeah, I would say the first like year to year and a half was very much.
Yeah, that whole freaking gamer, all those gamers are dead. Gamers don't need to be your audience. Gamers are dead, which was oddly a little too coordinated. It was only then that we kind of found out there's this thing called Game Journals Pro, where essentially all these big journalists start, more or less colluding with one another and what they write and whatnot.
Video game centric, the collusion of journalists, and then it slowly started pushing into other issues and got more and more political. And Me Too is absolutely a part of the conversation. I do remember being a part of that. But
sadly, that guy that one guy who made Night in the Woods got Me Too'd by Zoe Quinn. So
it's all a blur at this point. I do believe that there's probably some things that led to it, but at the same time, Hollywood has had that bubble for a long time, and I'm sure that just kind of blew off on its own.
Yeah. I really. I don't like either of these people. They have done so much fucking damage to this industry. We are slowly getting back. Slowly. But, it'd be a lot nicer if we didn't have to take this journey.